Yo, what's up, everybody? Sprint one is complete. Yay. Wow. Okay, sprint number one. Sprint number one. Sprint number one. Okay, what happened? I don't know. So, there's a lot of little things I just did right now. Let me just share my whole screen and then do a little bit of a audio check, make sure we got the audio working. And as long as I good. Okay, so now what happened is, well, this guy says Sprint 1 is officially complete with this final push for Windsurf. All planned development, testing, documentation, version control setup for Sprint 1 are now concluded with both primary local development environments, Cursor and Windsurf final status summary, end of Sprint 1 local Supabase stack running. Cursor project guidance MVP Cursor on GitHub full Sprint 1 features test docs Windsurf project guidance MVP Windsurf. Actually, this is not quite right. The name, it was weird because the name, it like changed by itself. I changed it to be one way, and then it just changed it by itself. It should say, guidance MVP. Cursor, but it doesn't. So I changed it once and then it changed it back, and I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know what's going on. It caused a lot of problems. Replete, okay, documentation. Okay, next step is formally close Sprint 1. We've done this by completing all tasks and documentation. Inform architect, you can now inform architect of Sprint 1 is complete. Oh, do we need to update? Begin planning. We did that. Project state. Your architect is also your project. Would you like to do that? Okay, so what's the issue? I feel like this page specifically is getting confused. Just recently it got confused with a bunch of different tasks. So I feel like that I've updated a lot of things. So I made like a liaison lesson learned from Sprint 1, Objective 1, and that should also be Objective 1. Now it's actually just called Sprint 1. So we got lessons learned from Sprint 1 for both of these players, these player haters. And then we've completed Sprint 1. We also have the Sprint 1 completion, the Sprint 1 review. I don't know if we need to update. Should we update that Sprint 1 review? That's one question. We updated the project continuation state and next steps. We got the detailed plan Sprint 2. And we got the, okay, hold on. What are the documents we're talking about? So we may need to update the Sprint 1 review, which is here. All right, let's put that one first. Okay, we may need to update Sprint 1 review. We got our Sprint 2 ready to go, which is here. And then we also have the project continuation state and next steps, which I call here, it's called current step calibration. Okay. So those are the three things. Now, specifically, let's talk about Sprint 1 review. So just going to ask, does this need to be updated, and do you want to save a version in each Cursor and Windsurf? Okay, so that's the Sprint. Oh, what did I just copy? I thought I saw Sprint 2. Okay, Sprint 1 review. Okay, good. So that's the first question. I'm definitely going to shut down this window because it's starting to get confused. I've noticed a couple of times recently that's kind of jumping back and forth, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like forgetting stuff. Plain text request for cursor. All right, so we're going to do the sprint 1 review. Oops. In here. Wait. Sometimes it hasn't printed out everything. Okay. Copy that. Yeah, you see it stops at 3. No. Confirm the sprint. Hold on. 3. Okay, it's fine. How do I do this? Enter. And then we got to give cursor the prompt. Action 2. Create the review for. Uh-oh. So it's creating a markdown file for the end of sprint 1, the sprint 1 review. We got everything up in GitHub, so we can move to our home page. We did our testing with the Supabase, our local Supabase thing. Replete is just kind of hanging out. I don't know what's going on with Replete, but we got 2 more weeks. So let's see what happens in the next 2 weeks. It should be interesting. I got 45 minutes to update my Gemini. My Gemini payment. So if I don't think it's, I think it's probably best if the officials is now in place. This is a key step for formally concluding sprint 1. Now we got Windsurf. Yeah, I'm going to update my Google Gemini. Because my real goal here is I'm trying to exhaust the tokens. But also at the same time, the problem is actually that since I'm using the Windsurf with this little, with this GPT 4.1 promo, the issue is that it's only using 1/4 of the credits. So there's absolutely no way that you're going to use up all the credits. Which means what? Which means the actual issue here is who can actually perform the task. So we got ChatGPT going against Gemini 2.5, and on Cursor we're using Gemini 2.5. I'm also using Gemini 2.5 Pro for my development team. What is this? Cursor step 10, commit and push final documentation. We're going to push this to GitHub. Okay, fine. GitHub and Replit is just still sitting here with Claude 3.5 Sonnet version 2. It's just not doing much. We'll see what happens in the next version, like in the next, in the next sprint, in sprint 2, because sprint 2, Replit is going to be much more active. So that'll be fun, and we'll see if it runs out of credits. If it runs out of credits, probably what I'll do is I'll just I don't know. What do you do if one of them runs out of credits? I mean, it might run out of credits because remember we used it like to do a whole bunch of other stuff earlier, and we used a whole bunch of credits, so it might run out of credits. But I kind of want to know the difference between like when it's time to launch these projects. Let's say that all of the apps work. What? Okay, to update the remote URL project may have used the old GitHub repository named MVP in my prompt. What the okay. Stop. You see? It made a mistake. I knew that like there's something it's just too much text at this point. It's like it's just too long. Local path is here. Even when I push enter, it's like it takes a little bit longer to kind of recognize it. I kind of want to finish the sprint before we get a new window going. The last guided cursor AI set to What happened? Both cursors, okay, and this need to be updated and reflect the cursor project remote. Actually, is this okay? Immediate first steps: sprint one review and readme in both local projects. Let's fix. Okay. Cursor AI. Oh man. Gordon wants to go outside. He's dying here. He said, "What is going on? We've just been sitting here all day long on your computer. I want to go outside and run around and hang out with all my buddies, say hi to all my friends." Hopefully tonight will be better than last night. Hey, buddy, bud. Last night, one of our, I don't know who it was, somebody was in town with a car. Goody God barked at him, and he said he had a gun. Isn't that right, Goody God? Yeah. And then somebody called the police. All right. Now we got windsurf. It wasn't me who called the police. The dude with the gun called the police. He called the police just because, I don't know, I made it obvious that I wasn't going to put up with somebody saying that they had a gun after a dog barked at them. I thought it was a little extreme, so I thought maybe I could echo the sentiment, which resulted in the person with the gun calling the police. Yeah. So, anyways, now the police are well aware that that man has a gun in his car, and that when dogs bark at him, he feels it's necessary to tell people that he has a gun in his car. I don't know why somebody would use that as their go-to. All right. Gordon, where are we? We're in the mountains of Georgia, on the corner of Russia and Azerbaijan. Now Sprint 1's officially concluded. Okay, the Superbase stack, the Cursor project is on GitHub, formerly called that. Now it's changed its name to that. And then this is done. This is all updated. Everything's good. Windsurf project is okay. It's good. Good. Got all that stuff done. Architect, this, that, key documentation. Okay, this is very successful completion of Sprint 1. Next step, Inform Architect begins Sprint 2 planning. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's go back to the architect. All right, so liaison doesn't know about Sprint 2 yet. It gave me these details. Okay, review is Sprint 1 is finished. Oh. Does need to be updated. Okay. No, it's too messed up now. Like, I'm just tired of I feel like we're just going in circles. Can I close this document? This is all I want to know. Can I close this document? Yeah, but I already have a sprint 2. I just feel like I'm playing hot potato now. I don't even know what's going on. Final step. I did this already. Keep the current version. Okay, so we're definitely finished the review. Here's the sprint 2. Now this is exactly where we are in, and here's cursor. Okay, we're done. So the architect is finished. We got the sprint 2 plan. It's finished. The continuation next step is finished. All right, we're done. All right, so that's good. Now there could be some, there's some of these documents need to go into the sprint 1 file folder. We got project continuation and next steps. So now what we can do is we can create a new folder, which is called calibration, project continuation and next steps. That's always in calibration. Yes, that's always in calibration. Project overview is calibration. App structure is calibration. Detailed modules is calibration. Tech stack is calibration. Brand guidelines is in calibration. Sprint process definition is in calibration. Cursor master prompt is in calibration. Liaison is in calibration. Windsurf master prompt is in calibration. That's not necessarily true. Okay, we'll just leave it in calibration. AI calibration, yeah, collaboration. Images is in calibration. MVP detailed plan for sprint 2. PDR Arrowhead. It's just an old document. I don't even know it's here. Request cursor about how to build. Sprint 1 review is definitely goes in sprint 1. And then we just got history and other. Request cursor how to build. Arrowhead PDR. And then that means we got sprint 2. Now, I guess technically, although it is in calibration, it's technically in calibration. But project continuation and next steps, I feel like it probably should move. Sprint. How do I just go back one? Current location. I want to move it out of. I guess it's called Arrowhead MVP. Yeah, there it is. Because that's actually the project continuation state and next step. So this is actually this is now. This is what's happening now. Now I am in sprint 2. That's true. We're starting sprint 2. Sprint 1 should have the sprint 1 start and the sprint review. The history should have this weird prompt about. Maybe there's another document that should be in there too. Let's go back to calibration. So we got calibration. You know, something that I don't like about this is just some of the inconsistencies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. Where's 9? I think it is a calibration. Liaison AI architect. Does this hide this? Images. I don't know about what number we should images. Let's put images at 0. Now we got the cursor master prompt with the windsurf master prompt. And we got the liaison and the architect. And then we got the AI collaboration roles and responsibilities. So I would say probably this should be number 9. I wonder if AI collaboration roles is actually number 9. Yeah, it is. Okay, so now liaison, lessons, and architect. Liaison is 10 and architect is 11. Okay. Now, cursor master prompt, shouldn't really be in here. Okay, so these are the 11 calibration documents. I don't need any of the history or other in case suddenly if I need the master prompt, because I put the master prompt into Cursor, so you can actually get it to run by itself. It doesn't need that master prompt. Sprint 1, I already looked in Sprint 2. Here it is. So there's Sprint 2. This is all good. We got all that stuff done. And where's our master prompts? Here's our master prompts right here. The actual document has the number as well. Anyways, I'm not going to do that right now. So now we got our current step. It should be one document. We got our Sprint 2. Should be one document. We got our Sprint 1. Should be 2 documents. We got our master prompts. There's 2 master prompts. I don't know what this is doing here. I don't think it really needs to be D. These are our calibration documents. Sprint calibration. Why is sprint calibration? It's a C. And we just need to put images to 0 spot. There. Wow, we got everything is looking good. What did you want? You wanted something from Windsurf. So with that, so I'm done actually with both of these windows. I feel like these context windows are full. They're starting to get a little mixed up. I can see even on this side, he's forgetting things that we've already done. And on this one also, it's forgetting things that we've already done, which means that the context window is too big. And that was the whole point. Remember, everything's in parity, everything's set up. It's officially completed. Next steps, close Sprint 1. You should now inform that Sprint 1 is complete and then begin Sprint 2 planning. Okay, we did that already. Relay this update to Gemini. All right, and so we're going to say goodbye to this one, and we're going to say goodbye to this one. Where does it leave us? So I officially have like 17 more minutes left on my Gemini account. I don't have to set it up today or tomorrow. Tomorrow it's going to be Sunday, and I don't need those 2 context windows. I'm going to create new context windows with this documentation. I got everything saved in Windsurf, and also it's backed up on GitHub. I got everything saved in Cursor, and it's backed up on GitHub. So we got our GitHub, we got our Google Docs. So let's stop sharing our screen, and that's all she wrote. Saying sayonara to sprint number 1, and at some point I'm going to try to figure out if I can kind of do the same. I don't know, maybe is it possible to do the same time every day? I guess we'll find out later.